Hi Anti Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out Twice's first impressions of each other from Sana Potter. Now, this is a video, I can't remember if it was recommended to me in a comment or if it just came up on my YouTube homepage at some point, but I remembered it recently because it was Twice's 9th anniversary and it reminded me that I don't know a whole lot about the beginning of Twice, or their personalities, the way that they interacted at the beginning, because most of the personality-based stuff that I've seen is Time to Twice and Twice Date, which is later on in their career. So I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff of early days of them just interacting in general, let alone know anything about trainees or first impressions time. And I know that they have a reality show, competition show thing that they did, which I refused to watch because when I got into K-pop, I started watching parts of the Stray Kids one, and I'm still mad about it. So I've sworn off of doing any kind of competition show or like reality show to form a group because I can't handle it. I don't need more trauma in my life. But I'm interested to see a little bit about what their first impressions are. I know that this is probably going to just be like a fun compilation and it's not going to get into any of the actual like serious moments of this. Like it's probably just going to be for fun, but at least give me like a ballpark of what their first impressions were. So let's check out the video. Let's see what our first impressions were.
첫인상을 잊을 수가 없다고요?
그래서 처음 본 일본 사람들이었어요.
Really?
숙소에 처음으로 와서 식탁에 앉아 있었는데 옆에 다른 언니가 있었어요. 그래가지고 그 언니가 저랑 제가 동갑이잖아요. 동갑이에요, 애들이. 그래서 너랑 너네랑 동갑이야 이렇게 해줬더니 둘이 마주보면서
I mean, I feel like this is sped up or something. It's weird. It's like messing with my brain. Maybe I'm just slow because I'm still sick, but I feel like not knowing what's going on when you're talking to Sana is like a given though. I think that's like a pretty solid first impression. Okay.
멤버들 첫인상 어떠니? 오, 맞아, 좋다 이런 거.
멤버들 첫인상. 저는 지효는 정말 되게 외국적.
Yeah, I remember they all were kind of like dazzled by Jio.
외국인 연습생인 줄 알았어요 처음에.
저도 그랬어요.
지효는 진짜 인도 사람인 줄 알았어요. 제가 지금 되게 많이 한국적이어졌는데
저 지혜 처음에 봤을 때 연예인 줄 알았어요.
Oh, celebrity.
눈이 엄청 커요 지효 언니.
맞아요.
너무 놀랐어요. 맞아. 아 네?
So we being like big eyes.
언니는 굉장히 습해서 되게 다가가기 힘들었어요. 처음에는.
다들 저를 무서워했어요.
안녕만 진짜
I can-
안녕하고 쌩하고 지나가고.
I mean, I can kind of get that.
쓰는 게 습관이 있어가지고.
I mean, 정현 does not hide what's on her face.
막내 같이 생겼어. 이게 정말 너무 무서웠다.
저 처음에 왔을 때는 정영 언니랑 민희 언니 같은 방이었는데
맞아 우리 숙소
연습생
살았을
때
때
처음에
그쵸.
그때는
쭈이랑 같이
딱
살았어요 같은 방에.
쯔이 왔을 때 딱 생각나. 그 롱 패딩 입고 왔었어.
항상 쭈이가 너무 이뻐가지고
Yeah, I guess she wouldn't have.
바라보고 민영이랑
Oh,
쭈이 너무 이쁘지 않아? 이러면서
why are we watching someone sleep?
자면서 너무 이쁘다.
그래서 가끔 막 눈 뜨면
That would be so unsettling. I'd be like, why? Can I help you? But I guess not because I wouldn't speak Korean.
난 다 첫인상 기억나.
그래?
스트레칭 시간 그 계단에서 받고 너는 보컬실에서 그 긴 약간 패딩 같은 거 입고 딱 붙는 거. 약간 밤 색깔이었나 봐.
쯔이는 그런 패딩 많이 입었어요. 여기 모자에 털 달린 거.
맞아.
Oh my gosh, I remember having coats with like the faux fur collar.
그때 너의 그때 모습 생생하게 기억나. 다현 언니도 기억나.
진짜?
너의 그 짧고 뭔가 정 너무 잘 보였고 그냥 그 진짜
맞아 머리 엄청 이렇게 짧고.
신기했어.
다현 언니는 엄청 난 나보다 동생인 줄 알았다. 완전 하얗고 피부 너무 좋고.
I mean,
나 세영이 처음 외국인인 줄 알았어.
I always think that
이쪽으로 생겨서.
Dahyun is like significantly older than me, and then I remember like we're the same age.
우리가 뭐라고 언니 혼자 또 그거
프리스타일 춤출 때?
크리스마스 때였나? 그 빨간 컬 하고 추고 나서
I think I remember them talking about this on their Twice date where so it was like, you were a lot.
그 춤추는 모습이
A lot nicer, obviously, because Sue's a sweetie, but I could believe Dahyun being in like a Christmas costume, freestyle dancing. Very in line with who she is.
내가 옛날에 생각했던 언니? 그런 거 얘기하다가 우리가 서로 안 친했을 때 생각했던 이미지 막 이런 거. 너는
That was a long pause.
나 먼저? 일단
I mean, like, nah, you go first.
일단 무서웠대 뭐. 일단 무서웠는데 나는 이 연습생 중에서 언니가 제일 예쁘다고 생각했어.
Ooh, good save, good save.
우리 엄마도 그랬어.
I also think Junghyun is very pretty,
고마워요.
and I would take the opportunity to tell her so.
나는 미안해.
You're gonna have to one up that one.
언니 뭐 있었잖아. 나 되게
Like, there's nothing special.
되게 막 그랬다 그랬잖아. 너는 단발이 제일 예뻤어. 응. 다 시커멓잖아. 머리도 시커매. 얼굴도 시커맸고. 그런 거는 잘 기억이 안 나는데. 너가 단발로 자르고 올 때 진짜 예뻤어. 아 맞아 이렇게 자르고 왔었어. 언밸런스. 갑자기. 그리고
I think we can all agree that Chaeyoung won this one.
근육이 좀 많은 애.
I would not expect that as like a first impression. Most of them are kind of like scrawny and young at the beginning, aren't they?
일단 나연 언니는 같은 공주잖아요. 아 예쁘다. 저 여자 예쁘다 이렇게 했는데 굉장히 돼서 왔는데 처음에는 이제 나연 언니가 진짜 되게 그런 성격 웃기고 막 이런 성격이 아니에요. 좀 별로지 않아요. 그냥 평범한 아니었어. 근데 언제부턴가 뭔가 뭘 어디서
I love it. Junghyun's are like nothing special.
겁나
She is very funny.
진짜 연습생들 너무 좋아요.
Yeah.
지옥에 이제 처음 가가지고 연습생들 초대하는 그런 건데 가서 저는 뭐 몇 살 뭐 유정현입니다 이렇게 했는데 뒤에서 지호가 나랑 동갑이네 친구들 친구 이러는
Cute.
아 나랑 동갑인 친구가 있구나 근데
Aww.
동갑인 친구가 처음이었대요 얘가 그래서 뭐 친해지려고 뭐 했는데 나는 그때 정말 내가 되게 생존이라고 그래 나는 계속
I find that hard to believe.
그래서 거의 뭐 연습실 안에서 안 나왔어. 밥도 안 먹고.
Well, that's not great.
지호가 저런 애는 처음 봐.
Did she force you to eat?
친해진 지는 진짜 거의
Because that would have been me. I was that with all of my friends. I'd be like lunchtime, I see someone not eating. I'd be like, I'm gonna sit you down and get you fed right now.
진짜 저희가 데뷔 직전에 들어와서 옛날에 데뷔 직전에 들어와서 저희가 이나 제일 그 연습 기간이 짧아가지고 기억이 안 나는데 한국말을 진짜 잘했던 기억이 나.
Okay, so she spoke Korean at the beginning.
한국에 1년밖에 안 됐는데 너무 잘하니까. 얘는 되게 똑똑한 아이구나.
I also think that she's very smart.
진짜 지니어스. 다현이 코딩상은 정말 풍성한 애기였어. 다현이가 연습생 때는 그렇게 마른 애기가 아니었어.
Well, everyone has baby fat.
애가 좀 통통했어. 되게 그래서 너무 귀여워서 그 볼살도 엄청 이렇게 있고 그래서
As someone with round features, I am defensive.
첫인상
나영 언니는 들어왔을 때 뭔가 딱 한국 그 연습생 뭔가 공식적인 연습생 뭐라고 해야 되지?
I mean, I get it.
연습생 그 느낌이 되게 났어요. 정현이는
She already had the right vibes for an idol.
첫인상 나영 언니랑 비슷했어요. 약간 그런 느낌이었습니다. 근데 잘 말 못 걸겠는 느낌.
Interesting if like those two
낯을 너무 가려서 어떤 사람이
like went through like the auditions, then they probably had to have like a certain vibe. So it makes sense that they'd have similar ones, right?
이게 제일 저의 단점인 것 같습니다.
I don't know if that's a weakness.
하나는
Just choose your words wisely.
일본에서 그 처음에 계약할 때 계약 서명할 때
Oh, interesting.
처음으로 왔는데
I assumed they would have signed it like in Korea. Like had to travel first.
비슷하다고 해야 되나? 뭔가 처음에 되게 다른 이제 분들도 계셨어요. 자기 연습생들 한 2명 있었는데 거기서 사나 보고 뭔가 약간 저랑 비슷한 느낌이.
Aw. I mean, I guess like the Japanese members would have bonded earlier on because they would have been able to speak to each other really well, which makes me feel bad for Tsui. Because if she didn't speak Korean right away, who was she able to like talk to, right?
채영이는 완전 들어왔을 때 우와 진짜 애기다. 진짜 애기로 봤어. 뭔가 진짜 어리고 귀엽게 생긴.
I believe, I mean, still. She still has cute young vibes to her.
채영이는 들어오기 전부터 소문이 있었어요. 너무 예쁜
I've heard that everyone was like, Tsui was too pretty.
진짜 예쁘다. 나영 쯔이의 모모 첫인상 알려주세요.
아,
모모 첫인상?
좋아.
어땠어 쯔이는?
첫인상? 진짜 첫 인상을 기억하는. 어디서 만났는지 기억하는.
숙소에서 만났어.
모모 나는 기억나. 한층 보컬실에서 너랑 사나랑 너네 어머니랑 사나 어머니
Aw.
같이 첫 번째 방을 열어서 인사했어.
I guess it would be kind of hard to remember the beginning, like the first impression, if you're meeting so many people in like the trainee like buildings, right?
그래서 열어서 인사했는데 완전 진짜 외국 사람이라는 그게 완전
Like, wouldn't it kind of be like a school? Like, I don't remember a lot of the first impressions I had people of people that I went to school with because I was in the same class as them forever.
나랑 사나랑 그 연습실 들어오는데 항상 그 새로운 사람 만나잖아 연습생. 그러면은 한명이냐.
So he's just going in on that cake.
난 진짜 닮은지 모르겠는 거야.
I don't get that either. They don't look enough alike. Cuties, though. It was interesting, honestly. There's some things in there that I didn't really know who ended up meeting first and like how they got put into JYP at all, right? That's not something that I know a whole lot about. Like I said before, I know that they had a competition show kind of thing that was to put together twice, but I didn't really know how they became JYP trainees to begin with, that they would even be part of that process. So it's interesting that we had Nayeon and Jungyeon who went through the auditions and then having Sana and Momo sign contracts in Japan before coming to Korea. And I know that Jo was with JYP for a while before being put into Twice. I know she was there super young. And I feel a little bit bad for Tsui because the Korean members could talk to each other and the Japanese members could talk to each other. But Tsui is on her own. I don't even know a lot of people. I don't know if I can think of another K-pop idol off the top of my head who is from the same place as her that would be able to talk to her. Yeah, I can think of Japanese members. I can think of American members in Australia, New Zealand, but I'm like, I don't know anyone else that like she could have had a conversation with in like her native language. It makes me like a little bit sad for her. That was actually a lot sweeter than I thought it would be. Like I was expecting more chaos, and definitely there was some because Twice is incapable of having no chaos for any significant length of time. But it was really sweet to see some of their first impressions and who connected with whom and what that first idea was, because some of it's accurate. Mina is super quiet and keeps to herself, but she is also very clever, and just because she's quiet doesn't mean she's not paying attention. And Sui being very quiet but also adorable, very sweet, and having the hand being like a little bit wild, obviously probably not to the same extent that she is now, that she's more comfortable around the members and just with herself and like her career and stuff like that. But the image that Sui had of like her at Christmas with the like red nose on doing like a freestyle dance or whatever, I'm like, yeah, that sounds that sounds accurate. So I really like getting to see some of that and like their first impressions and hear a little bit about what it was like for them as trainees. Even though I always hesitate when I want to know some stuff about the beginnings of idols' careers, because I definitely have like my own criticisms and opinions when it comes to trainees and like how groups are put together. And like, it's not just like in K-pop, but like in general, whenever you start in showbiz, especially like at a young age, I have like my own thoughts, opinions on that. But it is interesting to just see like the origins, especially before being Twice. And I was thinking like it must be a little bit tricky to think of the very first impression, because when you start off as a trainee, you don't know who's going to be part of the group. So I say like school, where you don't know who's going to be in your class, who you're going to have classes with, or if you're going to be like partnered up with certain people, like you don't know that yet. So you're not filing away that first time that you meet someone in quite the same way, especially since I'm sure that they met a lot of people and they were getting a lot of information. They were dealing with a lot of stuff and didn't necessarily have the time or the brain power to be able to tuck that away as important information, because they didn't know that it was going to be important yet. I find it fascinating, but I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me the next time I post a Twice reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.